Me and my notebook.
Where our mental health and wellness expert, Jane Marks, joining me for this special edition of Self-Care Saturday because it is Mother's Day weekend.
It is Mother's Day weekend, and what a way to celebrate it, to start off the weekend by just talking about moms and how important they are.
Yeah, definitely. And moms need their self-care. Like you always talk about, they're so busy taking care of everybody else. Why is it so important to make sure that they are making sure they get that self-care?
Well, for one thing, moms are the only people that their children have. So if moms are, again, compromised in any way, they can't take the care that they feel so, I lost my train of thought. Sorry about that. Okay. It is so important that they take care of themselves because if
you know what, just because it is self-contained, we'll start it over because I'm not going to be here and I don't want somebody to mess up.
Okay.
We'll start it from the top. Okay. Well, hold on. Wait. He's saying stand by, Jane.
Okay. It doesn't matter. I can't hear you.
All right. Now I'm sorry, Travis. Okay. Well, Jane, you could just either look at the camera or look at me.
Okay.
That works. Okay. All right, Travis, count me in. Our mental health and wellness expert, Jane Marks, joining me now for this special edition of Self-Care Saturday because it's Mother's Day weekend.
It's Mother's Day weekend, and what a special time to celebrate mothers. And it's interesting to me because all of us are getting ready to celebrate our own mothers. But what about ourselves? And you as a future mother, you've got to think about this because this will become a very important holiday for you, Brittany.
Eventually, one day, we are naming it and claiming it. So, but yeah, Jay, I mean, you talk about that. There are so many people that need to be celebrated on this particular weekend. But so many of them don't know that they need the self-care or don't give themselves time to actually get self-care. So how important is that?
It's important because they're so busy functioning in a very goal-oriented way. What happens is as a mother, we feel like we must nurture our families, we must take care of them, we must make sure that, particularly this last year, that that their schoolwork was on time because we were sheltered in place with them. We have to make sure that we're taking care of their health care needs, their emotional needs, their physical needs, and guess who gets neglected? Moms. And so that's why it's so critical that moms take the time to celebrate themselves. Moms feel such guilt because they feel like they don't do enough, that they are not as good as other parents. They're constantly comparing themselves to other people. And I think the role of a mother can be so joyous and rewarding, but you better believe it can be frustrating. And so you need to have a chance to release some of that because, you don't take time off. There's not time off being a mother. Once you're a mother, you take on a lifetime responsibility. You are there for the count. And so for you to take care of yourself on a regular basis, again, we talk about this all the time. It is not an option. It must be part of your ongoing care.
Yeah, and I mean, and talk about the routines that they need to put in place because oftentimes, like you said, they don't think about themselves. They put everybody before themselves and what they need to do on the regular day. What types of things do they need to put in place to make sure that they're getting the care that they need?
Well, so many things. We talk about the physical things like exercise and sleep and certainly diet, rich in nutrients. But more importantly, it is important to have relationships and not just a partner, but, where we talk to other people that are going through the same experience because it is tough being a mother. We'd like to think it is smooth because we think about our mothers and we think about our histories. But the fact of the matter is that particularly during these times, it is a very difficult thing to manage on a day-to-day basis. We love our children unconditionally. We want to be there for them, but we must mother ourselves like we do our children. And so self-care, once again, becomes critical. And there's so many things that we can do that we don't think about. Like this weekend, I tell the mothers that I work with in my practice, listen up. Let me give you a few tips that I think are really important. And so they laugh because they expect, an evaluation. I'm kind of a coach. I'll say, no, let's get in here and let's do things a little differently. Like write yourself a message. that shows your accomplishments. So when the kids are ragging you out, you can look back at all these things that you've written about yourself. Like, today, this is what I accomplished. So you're filling your banks, because kids, unfortunately, we'd like to think that they would fill our banks, but we're going to have to do that for ourselves. And so, again, self-care becomes critical. Now, this weekend, do something different. Hang out with the girls, be a little messy, take time to enjoy your passions and things that are inherently part of you. And even if you only do it for 15 minutes, you're doing it. And that's part of self-care.
And celebrating yourself as well.
Absolutely. To celebrate yourself, that is hard to celebrate motherhood. Because we think it is our duty and our responsibility and not a celebration. But if we encourage our mothers to pivot to celebrating yourself, and I constantly tell my mothers, listen, you are the only mother that your child needs. So when you start second guessing yourself, you got to remember, your child sees you as the most awesome person in the world. And even if you're a little bit on the irritable side, you're still there for them. You are still there for them. So this is a good weekend to look at mothers and celebrating mothers from a totally different perspective. And I think mothers, in other words, take a different picture this weekend. Go out and celebrate on.
Yeah, and one last tidbit, Jane, because this is also sometimes the most difficult holiday for many people. Anything you'd like to say to them who may be just struggling with the fact that they lost a mother or someone who was a motherly figure to them?
Absolutely. Well, take the time to do something that lifts your spirits. You know what? There are lots of uplifting moments with that mother figure. Think about this. Take the time to journal them. Take the time to pause. Take the time to say, you know what, this person had meaning in my life. I'm going to write this down because there are going to be times when I need this. These inspirational women in our lives, and they come in the forms of all kinds of folks, teachers, moms, godparents, aunts, and in some cases, we have non-traditional mothers like uncles who serve that role. So, it's, again, this has been a tough year, and so the idea of celebrating Mother's Day can be a really unique experience this year. So what we do is encourage our mothers to lift up, shout out, remember, moms, you're awesome.
I love that. Jane Marks, thank you for joining us for Self-Care Saturday.
Absolutely.